their eyes. What I'm going to do today is give you an insight into how I do my practice logs, and we're going to look through this tune and listen to what Django played and try and work out what we can learn from it, and I'll show you the process. Fantastic stuff, wasn't it? We're going to listen again. I'm only doing the first chorus because that's all. I don't even know how long this video is going to be. So we'll listen to it again, and then we're going to listen to it again slowly, and then we're going to do a review. Slowly, and that to me is one of the secrets. I learned the way I learned, because I'm really old, is that my dad had a record player. Yeah, that's how old I am. And I've had these Django LPs which were at 33 RPM, but this record player had a setting to play 78 and also 16, which was, approximately half of the speed. So I used to put it on 16 and go drop the needle, listen to Django, try and work out what he was playing, and drop the needle again. With modern technology, obviously we can just put a clip on YouTube and adjust the speed. So I think it's really important that you listen and really get this solo and the sound. And I found that as a way to help get that into your head, and you have to listen to it as many times as you can until basically you can sing the solo. And once you can do that, or approximation of it, then we're ready to move on. So now we're going to listen to it slowly, and I suggest that you do a similar exercise and listen to this tune as many times as you need to. How did your listening go? How did you get on? Did you really listen? Let me ask you some questions. What beat did Django start his solo on? How often did he play? When did he decide to pause? How often did he ascend or descend? Or use colour a note with a bend or vibrato? Well, being glib here, but the thing about listening is to really listen. There's a concept which I think it could be described as hearing, which is like enjoying, and listening, which is a more critical process of trying to discern what's going on. So if you know the answers to those questions, great. If not, listen again and formulate those. There are probably even better questions to that, but try and really get to the nub of what's going on. When does he play? Is he play? What's his attack? Is he playing? Is he coming in hard or is he coming in soft? When does he not play? There's a concept that you often hear in Django's solos, which I'll come on to discuss when we look at the solo in some depth, of, I suppose you might call it, melodic tension or density, and yeah, let's call it melodic density, where Django will play a large number of notes maybe, and then space that out by playing just a couple of notes. So let's move on, and I'll show you, and we'll talk through the solo. Right, so what we're going to do is look at, firstly, although I said we're going to do the solo, let's get the grounding of the harmony behind it. So what we're going to see somewhere on the screen, I'll put it somewhere, is a list of a chord grid, which I think I took from Dennis Chang's Play Along, and these are common changes that you'll hear or people will use on a playing this tune on a gypsy jam session. But one thing to bear in mind, as we will see, is that these are just an overview of, or a background of what the harmony might be. Django's solo, and also as a jazz musician, some changes that you can make to it. We'll go through them. So up here we should see that somewhere we'll see the changes, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you through on my guitar some of the changes and ways that I might look at this tune. So here we go. Let's have a look. D. I might play D6 with a 9. It's D6 9. Sorry. And that is the 9th. So D flat 9th or C sharp enharmonically. Back to D and then E minor. You could play that E minor there, but using the same form as we used for the 9th there for that, for the F sharp, and B minor. I'm going to do the little cliche. And just approach the E7th, which I'm playing E9th, as a half step. That's our D7th. We'll play the D9th form. That's just a walk up. And then G, the diminished. Made an ass of that. Which is A7th, altered. That's how I think of these things. Just I try and always take them back to the most simplest form. So that's, I understand the sound of that, but to me I think of it as an A7th with added tension. Okay, so those are the kind of, that's the way that I might consider this this basic harmony. Obviously there's lots of things you can do. I think you heard me do some half up steps into below a chord. You heard I just moved that all. So that's an overview of how I might play the chords. We'll go on now to look at a transcription that I've made, and we'll talk through it. So that was using Guitar Pro 7, I think, for for those who are interested in it. It's my transcription. My intention wasn't to get the notation or even get things perfect. It was the what some people mean by transcribing is actually just the process of converting the listening process into a more tangible thing with looking at where it might how the notes might be and getting more clarity. So that's what it is. It isn't a disclaimer. It's not. I'm not saying that this is exactly what Django played, but this is what I do in my process to try and get nearer to working out what was going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it up again, and you can listen to it again, and then I'm going to get back to the guitar and I'll talk through aspects of what I learned from this process. Okay, warning, I've just heard my dog barking, and she will bark, but her name's Bonnie, and she will bark, especially when I'm recording something. Anyway, I've just looked at that transcription. Just a quick note, I play 7-string guitar, and that's my 7-string template that you'll see for Guitar Pro. So, but just if you see, you don't have to change have a 7-string to play this. Okay, so how does Django start? Remember, I asked you that question. Well, this is an unusual thing in Django in that he starts he usually starts before. If you listen to his solos, he often starts the solo before Grappelli's finished his solo, but this is one case where he waits and comes in with which in the key of D, and he basically tells us we're in D. I'm not sure where he plays it, really. I mean, one process that I do is that when we get one of these little fragments or piece of Django language, is to try and work out all the places where it might be played, and sing along. That's have a look. There's different ways that you can learn. Obviously, there's the acoustic thing, so auditory, and then there's the physical thing of where your fingers might make that shape, and so whenever we get anything, that's why you can learn. If we can't. There's many times that I've tried to play a complete Django solo, and I can't do it. But what I can get from it is find one of these little pieces, and a piece of Django language. They're like little bits of clay, and the way to really get them is not to just play them, even trying to imitate and play it in the best way that you can to approximate what Django did, but to immediately start to use it and to get in the context. So it's descending, and he probably plays it with much more bite and velocity, but so immediately look at that. That's D, and he's playing D. So we want to get this into our heads and into something that we can use. So here I went. So that's me starting before Django come in. I'm playing over the A7th. Let let me do an ascending thing into that. Which is, I'm just getting the essence of playing that D. So that's what I'm learning from this. I'm learning Django playing D, so let's play some D. And then he does something. If we move on, the next thing he plays, or an approximation of that. Again, listen to yourself and make out what you think he's playing. I'm just going through a process of how I disseminate and try and learn. The chord there, as we know from the chord sheet, moves down to D flat ninth, but Django doesn't move down to D flat ninth really. I think harmonically, da ba do do. He doesn't play da do do do. But remember what we just learned is that we've learned that. So we could do that. So our solo could be or something like that. But what Django plays is which I just see as being still staying D major. The rest of the band moves down. Which he repeats that phrase. And that's as the harmony moves to E minor. And wow, look what he does. He just plays down the arpeggio. And now, so let's have a look at that. So the harmony moves. So we go to our F sharp. And what does Django play? Look how the thing relates to the shapes. And then down into the B minor. So you could say that he's playing the F sharp ninth or playing the diminished that goes with it. So that's the ninth. Well, of course we can interchange that. He's telling us really that we can play F sharp ninth or we can play the diminished. I made an answer that. Let me do it again. And then just again, he's just playing us through. We're playing through into the shape of the B minor. That's the next bit. And what's he playing? He's playing up an arpeggio of our E ninth. Which he probably plays here. There. I don't know where he played. But so that's playing E ninth. He plays one of those. He plays one of those diddly-dums or glissandis, which during his early Django you hear that a lot. And if you listen to Louis Armstrong, you'll hear what Django's trying to approximate. He's trying to play the things which he heard Louis Armstrong do, in my opinion. Again, no surprise, he's playing down the arpeggio of the harmony. I've written that in the transcription, but I think he plays which is again E minor, which is E minor, one of the chords there. We now get into the turnaround. And on this solo is one of the ones where he doesn't play many notes through those changes. It's something obviously you often hear people play. And really play through those changes. He actually shows us you don't always have to play lots of notes. And then that's where we've got to with this transcription, which is an A7. So just to recap, have a look again and listen, work out what you think he's playing. But the key to this approach isn't to try and slavishly copy what he did. It's trying to get an understanding of how we might do it. And I think one of the key things to this is to, as soon as you get any piece, any little morsel shape piece of clay, just get it and play with it. Yeah, so if we look at that turn over again, that turn around. And just start to improvise around the things, the information that you've got. And there's no shame in, and in fact, it's one of the secrets to it, is to do it really slow. It's to do it really slowly. I'm at my E minor. And that's how I improvise and do this practice routine and this approach. And I hope that I hope it's been useful for you. Let me know. And if it is useful, then can you like, comment, share, subscribe, and send oodles of cash, you know, the usual stuff. Thanks.